You feel stuck, don't you? Your friends are all pairing off, settling down, starting families. Your circle's shrinking by the day. Maybe you don't even have any real friends left. No family support, zero matches on dating apps, nothing. You wake up, check your phone, no messages. You go to work, go through the motions, exchange pleasantries with coworkers, but nothing deeper. You're holding so much inside, going through so much inner struggle that you feel like you don't even have anybody to share it with, no one that would even understand. You come home to an empty apartment, order takeout for one, and scroll through social media, watching everyone else live the life that you want. And seems like a fantasy, seems like it's so out of reach. And you're stuck in that cycle, scrolling through porn, feeling that rush, then immediately crashing into shame and disgust every single time without fail. You tell yourself, this is the last time I'll watch it. But you know you'll be back tomorrow, and you're left alone with your thoughts more than you want to admit. Dating feels like banging your head against a wall. You've probably even thrown in the towel with that. You probably think you're just going to be single for forever. You're completely done. Maybe if you have been dating, you craft the perfect message, you get left on red, get ghosted, you finally maybe get a match. She seems interested, then vanishes without explanation. Just Casper, time after time. The rare times you do get a date, you get ghosted after what felt like maybe a great connection, but then your confidence is shot. And deep down, there's this voice asking, has life already passed me by? Is this it? Am I fundamentally broken now? You look around and you see couples everywhere. Maybe your younger brother is getting married. Your coworkers talk about weekend plans with their partners. Your neighbors are having barbecues you're never invited to. That gnawing feeling of being lost, disconnected, invisible. So video games, Netflix binging, and that's what's destroying so many men right now. It's just a part of it. But here's the thing, nobody's talking about it. Society acts like men's loneliness doesn't exist, like we should just man up and figure it out on our own. I know that feeling intimately because I lived it. For years I was 4 years in the Marine Corps, 4 years in the Marines. Every day I was surrounded by brotherhood, discipline, and purpose. We had each other. We had a mission. We had structure from sunrise to lights out for 4 years. And there was never a question of belonging or purpose because we just knew, right? But when I got out, that's when it hit me. Depression, feeling lost, complete disconnection from society. And the civilian world felt foreign. I mean, I went in right out of high school. So for me, it was really just trying to figure who I am and what I want in life when I got out. So much trauma, unhealed wounds. But in the world today, a lot of people are directionless. They're soft. And picture this, right? When I was in the military, I went from having, let's say 30 brothers there who would die for me to sitting alone in my apartment wondering if anyone would even notice if I disappeared for a week. There's really no structure beyond whatever job I could find. No brotherhood. Just coworkers who talked about the weather and sports and whatever else, whatever they're doing with their friends and family. But I felt lost, man. There was no clear mission beyond just paying bills, scraping by, and trying to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do with my life. And I went to college. It took me 7 years to finish. I went to three different states, three different colleges, switched my major, did 4 years of school, and I still didn't have my degree yet. I did personal training, I did security, some odd jobs here and there, and I find myself at rock bottom um, when I was about 27 or so, and now I'm 34. When I turned 30, it was actually really depressing. I was living in this shitty apartment, trying to finish school. I was working two jobs and just trying to get to the next level, driving a shitty car in a shitty apartment. And it was very self-destructive what I did. So I did have a couple of friends at the time, and they wanted to do something nice for me, but because I felt like I was worthless with where I was in my life, I ended up going out to a party, drinking under the influence, and then I got in a wreck. On my 30th birthday, I'm sitting at the body shop trying to get my car fixed because I had ruined the plans. But for so many years, I didn't even have any friends. I felt like the lone wolf. I felt isolated. And for years, I threw myself into work for 60-hour weeks, anything to feel, just to fill the silence and avoid facing the emptiness. Just staying busy, busy, busy. To try to numb the pain, to distract myself. Vaping, porn, overindulgence in food, video games for hours, Call of Duty. But at the end of the day, I was still alone. And by 2018, I hit rock bottom. I was watching porn daily, sometimes multiple times a day. I didn't go out with a single woman that entire year, not one date, not even a coffee. I'd download dating apps, stare at them for hours, maybe send a message or two, then delete the apps out of frustration because I was so annoyed from the fucking dating apps, bro. This shit sucks. And I completely let my body go. I hadn't hit the gym in 3 months, maybe longer. And this is coming from someone who used to be in Marine level shape. Like I was in pretty good condition, pretty good shape, I guess. But I went to eating Taco Bell and McDonald's every single night, sometimes both in the same sitting. I'd order through delivery apps so I didn't even have to face another human being. I'd try dating apps, get a few matches if I was lucky, and then mess it up somehow with how awkward conversations went, or just letting them expire because I was too insecure. I was too unsure of myself. And I was too scared to actually meet up. Like maybe I would get some matches, but I was too scared to actually meet up because I didn't feel like I had anything to bring to the table. I go to bars occasionally, try to be social, go out with friends sometimes, or friends, I guess, right? That's what you call them. But weren't really like true friends, you know? And I felt like I was speaking a different language than everyone else. I felt like I was so detached and disconnected. I remember one night lying in my bed at 2 a.m., empty fast food containers on my nightstand. I'm thinking, I survived combat. I led Marines. I accomplished things most people never will, never even understand. So why can't I now figure out how to connect with another human being? Why do I feel more alone in a room full of people than I did in a foxhole overseas, over in combat? And the military had taught me how to be disciplined, how to lead, how to overcome obstacles to an extent, but nobody taught me how to rebuild yourself when the very foundation of your identity gets ripped away. And that's what happens in the military. That's why so many veterans are lost. But nobody prepared me for the fact that the skills that made me valuable in the Corps didn't automatically translate to building meaningful relationships in the real world. To bury and suppress emotions. the first thing I did was stop running from the truth. I had to admit that everything I thought I knew about connecting with people was either wrong or incomplete. And I started learning, becoming a student of the game, reading everything I could get my hands on: psychology, communication, social dynamics between men and women, and just understanding anything that I could, any of my interests. Not pickup artist garbage, but real research about human connection, human psychology. And I pushed myself back out into the world to take a step back out. I began working on myself and just improving my physique and just getting after it, taking full accountability for my life and where I am, and saying, you know what, this is not okay. What we see in the mirror is not okay. I don't even fucking recognize that guy. And it was so hard to finally put myself back out there eventually. I was monk mode for probably a year, focusing on school, work, killing credit card debt, getting my body right. And I pushed myself back out into the world, even when every fiber of my being resisted. It was hard. I joined groups everywhere, I could go. I mean, I joined groups where I had no business being, probably, I guess. I started conversations that felt awkward at first and forceful initially. I failed more times than I can count, but I kept showing up. Most importantly, I rebuilt myself, body and mind at the same time. I brought that military discipline back into my life, but this time with a different mission. Discipline in the gym, because physical strength builds mental confidence, internal confidence. You're showing up for yourself consistently. You can't go buy your ideal body on aisle 5 at Walmart. You have to build that body day by day, one drop of sweat at a time. It was discipline in my thoughts, cutting out the negative self-talk and victim mentality that I had. Discipline in my daily habits, creating structures and systems where there was chaos before. I started small, though. Instead of trying to become the most charismatic guy in the room overnight, I focused on becoming 1% better each day. Better conversations, better posture, better eye contact, better boundaries. Slowly, deliberately, I climbed out of that pit that I was in, that dark pit. It felt like I was never going to get out of it. It's not through some magic transformation, no fucking shortcuts, but through consistent action, consistent daily action, even when I didn't feel like it, especially when I didn't feel like it. I became stronger, sharper, more confident over time, and I realized something very crucial. I wasn't broken. The system had just never taught me the skills that I needed, that I actually needed for this phase of life, making this transition. I just needed to forge myself again, this time with the right blueprint. And that's why I'm speaking on this now, because I know exactly what it takes to ascend out of that darkness. So I want you to just type in the comments, what's the number one thing that you're struggling with right now? Like, what is the biggest thing you're struggling with right now? Let me know. I want to know. Okay. Here's what's really happening to men today and why this epidemic is getting worse with loneliness. Okay. Your social circle is evaporating, and it's not your fault. Friends prioritize relationships, marriages, kids. Suddenly, the guys you used to grab beers with every weekend, every Friday, right? They're busy with couples dinners and kids' soccer games, and you feel left behind, excluded from a life everyone else seems to have figured out, and you feel behind. The worst part, they don't even realize they're doing it. You go from having a tight crew to being the single guy who gets the, pity invite to group events where you're surrounded by couples talking about mortgages and preschools, new friendships feel impossible as an adult. It's tough to make friends as an adult. I understand. Think about it. When you were younger, you made friends naturally, right? Through school, sports, shared experiences. Your parents connected you. And now between busy careers, remote work, everyone's glued to their phone. Everyone lives in the digital world, hiding behind a screen. And social interactions are diminishing, and fewer genuine social spaces, right? Building deep bonds becomes this uphill battle. You might have dozens of acquaintances, but nobody you can call when you're going through real stuff, right? Yeah, just pretty much every guy I've talked to feels like they just don't have any guys that they can actually open up to. Maybe party with and this, but when you really start unloading, I mean, who can you really go to? And that's why I built this channel. That's why I built this community. Most of the time with people, though, everything stays surface level because nobody has time or energy for depth, and they don't even know who they are and what they want anyway. They haven't even done the work themselves. The places where men used to bond, neighborhood bars, local gyms, community centers, are either gone or filled with people staring at their phones, bro. Like, literally. Dating has become psychological warfare. Let's talk about that. Talk about it a lot in my earlier videos, but dating apps have fundamentally broken the game, and I'm not a fan. Women have unlimited options. They can swipe through hundreds of guys in an hour. You're not competing against the guys in your local area anymore. You're competing against every attractive, successful guy within a 50-mile radius. And like I always talk about with hypergamy, women always want to make sure they're with their best option. Quick rejections become the norm for you because why? I mean, the frame for women is they don't think anything about the rejections because they're just like, all right, why settle for good or mid when you can potentially find perfect? At least that's what they think, right? Meanwhile, you're crafting personalized messages that get ignored, paying for premium features on these dating apps that don't work. It's rigged. And you're watching your self-esteem get chipped away with every match expired. The apps are designed to keep you paying, not help you find someone. You can't show vulnerability without being seen as weak these days. Traditional masculinity says admitting loneliness equals failure. So you keep it buried. A lot of the red pill space, failure, a lot of the red pill community, very rigid. It's like, don't be vulnerable. Don't open up. It's fucking bullshit, dude. It's a bunch of BS. That's why I started the Ascended Man, to bridge the gap. And when you bury your emotions like this and you don't open up and you're playing a game, it makes real connections even more impossible because you're closing yourself off to it. You learn to give the standard answers, yeah, I'm good, just staying busy. But inside, you're screaming. You want to share. You want to be more. You want to open up. And because you can't be honest about struggling, your friendships stay shallow. And that's what we've seen so much of. Nobody knows the real you. So nobody can actually help or connect with the real you. It's a vicious cycle. The very thing that might help opening up feels like the thing that will make you look pathetic and weak, like you're giving away your power. And work becomes your escape, and it's killing your social skills because you pour everything into your career, right? Your routines, your hobbies, anything to avoid the silence and have something to show for your time. At least that's what you think. And having that independence at first on your own for years and years and years seems like freedom. You can do what you want when you want, no compromises, no drama. But over time, you realize you've lost basic social skills because you stopped going out. You stopped meeting new people, getting out of your comfort zone. You become so used to your own routine that interacting with others feels forced and exhausting, and you don't even want to. Like, what's the point? You've optimized your life for solitude, and now breaking out of this seems like a nightmare to you. You can't even imagine. It seems impossible. Breaking out of this, I'm just going to be alone for forever. I've already accepted it. Doomer, black pill guys. You see a lot of them on my channel. I know past rejections that you've had in the past have built walls that are keeping everyone out. You have all your armor on. Every failed relationship, every rejection, every disappointment adds another brick to the wall around your heart. And you tell yourself you're being smart, protecting yourself from future pain, but you're also blocking out any real connection. Okay? And you've become so good at expecting the worst that you sabotage anything good before it has a chance to even develop, to even give it a chance. And you'd rather just be alone for forever than risk being hurt again. But that safety is actually a prison for yourself. You understand that? And the external pressures are suffocating your soul, right? I mean, I get it. The financial stress from trying to build a life on a single income. I mean, it's tough these days. Everything's so expensive. It seems like it's so far-fetched. Can't even imagine having a wife and kids because stressed about finances. You're just trying to get your head above water. And you feel like you can't ever get ahead. Maybe health declining from stress and isolation, and society judging you for being single past a certain age, family asking when you'll settle down, friends treating you like there's something wrong with you, or siblings maybe. The isolation isn't just mental anymore, and studies show it's literally affecting your physical health. Chronic loneliness, depression, lack of community, lack of human connection impacts your immune system, increases your inflammation, and it can be harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. But nobody talks about that because it doesn't fit the narrative that men should just handle everything on their own. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. Okay, you're not broken, you're not behind, you're not too late, and you're not lost my train of thought. It's not too hopeless for you. You still have time. And you're definitely not alone. You're definitely not alone in this journey. I've been there. There's many guys that have been there in the past. And this system failed you. Society told you that if you just worked hard, went to college, stay out of trouble, walk a straight line, and were a decent guy, everything would fall into place. That's not how the world actually works, as we've seen, right? Nobody taught you the real skills you need, how to build genuine connections, how to navigate modern dating, how to maintain friendships as an adult, how to make them, how to be vulnerable without being weak, how to create your own sense of community and purpose. Nobody teaches you this stuff. I mean, coming up, we have to go seek out our own resources and mentorship. But here's what I learned. Once you understand the game that's actually being played, once you develop the skills that actually matter in life, everything changes. Not overnight, of course. Nothing is, though. That's fantasy. But systematically, progressively, inevitably, you can build your social circle with men who actually have your back. You can develop the confidence to approach dating from a position of strength instead of desperation. And you can learn to be genuinely interesting and interested in others. You can break out of the prison of isolation you've built around yourself for all these years. I'm not talking about fake it till you make it, like positive thinking, rose-colored glasses, okay? I'm talking about practical strategies, real skills, and a system that works because it's based on how human connection actually functions, not how we wish it worked. And the difference between men who thrive and men who crumble and men who live in this chronic depression and suffer in silence is it's not talent, luck, or looks, really. It's knowledge and application. Okay? It's knowledge and application. It's guys who take extreme ownership of their life, find the areas that need improvement, and they maximize the cards that they were dealt in life. It's really about having the right blueprint and the discipline to follow it. You just need the right strategy, the right mindset, and the discipline to rebuild yourself from the ground up. Not to become someone else, but to become just the best version of who you already are. If you're ready to stop accepting this reality and start forging a better version of yourself, then you know what you need to do, bro. You deserve better than the life you're living right now. And that's why I started this channel. That's why I started the community that I'm building with the Ascended Man. And that's why I started offering mentorship to help you ascend in every area of your life, to step into your true power, to revitalize modern masculinity, because there is an epidemic of lonely, broken men. If you're serious about leveling up and shedding mediocrity, then just click the link in the description. And that's all I got for you today, man. I'll see you guys in the next one.